This is the beautiful Chapel of St. Kinga. It is equal parts massive and magical. At more than 100 feet long, 60 feet wide, and 60 feet high, with those lovely little chandeliers illuminating this sacred space. Over those 70 years, only 3 different people did all the beautiful carvings and the sculptures that you see today. Those sculptures and carvings tell different Bible stories and also different periods of Jesus' life, including the Last Supper on this wall. Way down at the altar, of course, we see the Virgin Mary. Now, if you're interested, you can come to service every Sunday at 7:30. And there was something else I wanted to tell you that made this chapel unique. What was it? Oh yeah, it's made completely out of salt, because right now we're inside a salt mine, more than 300 feet underground.
Yep, that's right. This is the Velitska salt mine, one of the first landmarks in the world to be given a UNESCO status. And it is also a National Historic Monument of Poland. And while this level is about 300 feet underground, the deepest section is about 1,000 feet underground, with a labyrinth of 9 levels, 150 miles, an entire underground lake, and hundreds of chambers like these. The salt mine is so big that visitors can only visit 2% of it, and that usually takes about 3 hours. The mine was built more than 700 years ago to extract rock salt. The salt was so valuable that it was called white gold. Over the centuries, the thousands of miners and workers needed places to worship, so they carved out multiple chapels like this one, the Chapel of St. Kinga. People have their weddings down here, it's so beautiful. The chapel is named for the patron saint of salt miners. And the reason she's the patron saint is a complicated one, so listen up. The legend of St. Kinga goes like this. Kinga was a princess of Hungary and engaged to the Prince of Krako. Because she was a lovely and generous princess, for her dowry, she wished for a salt mine so that Poland could become wealthy. So she throws her engagement ring down into a Hungarian salt mine, then travels over to Krako, has her servants dig, and they dig up a chunk of salt, opened it up, and found her ring. Thus, her wish was fulfilled, and the profitable salt mine was formed here in Poland. Got all that? Now, let's look at the detail of the sculptures. Here you can see the Last Supper, the Nativity scene, and other Bible stories. Just look at the details on the faces. It is hard to believe that this is made completely out of salt. And these were all carved by the miners, not hired artists, which makes the artwork all the more special. But as exquisite and enormous as the St. Kinga Chapel is, there are several other chapels way down here, including this precious one dedicated to St. Anthony. This is the earliest chapel built here in the mine, back in the 1600s. Miners would pray here every day before their shifts. And then there's one more special chamber dedicated not to a heavenly saint, but to a very important person who studied the heavens.
So, as we know, Krako is incredibly proud of their adopted son, Copernicus, because Copernicus went to university in Krako. But what does that have to do with this 15-foot tall statue made completely of salt here more than 200 feet underground? Well, apparently when Copernicus wasn't sitting around figuring out that the planets revolve around the sun and not the earth, you can see him holding the sun up there, one day in 1493 he decided to go on a little field trip. And do you want to guess where he went? Right here to the salt mines. And he was and is still considered to be the very first tourist here, or as I like to call him, the very first curious traveler.